Hey, hi, this is Joe with Prep Agent. I'm here with my friend Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Okay, so just so everybody knows, this is recorded for everybody to enjoy in YouTube land. And if you want to do this like Christine, just let me know. And if you have any comments or questions, put them below. And don't be afraid to disagree with anything I say. I'm not perfect, although I'd like to think I am. Right, Christine? You'd like to think I am, correct?
Oh, you are, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you have any questions or comments, put them below and I'll try and reply to them the best I can. You could also put them on my Facebook page and I'll reply to them there. So, Christine, what you wanted to ask me about today was government surveys, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. What if there's no address? What if there are no streets? For example, when I want to mail you something, what do you give me?
An address.
An address, right? So whatever, 53 Main Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, whatever it is, correct?
Right.
But what if there is no Main Street? Or better yet, what if there's no Nashua? What if you're just standing like in the middle of an area? What do you do?
I don't know.
Exactly. Now, what type of person would need to be able to identify land where there's no address?
A surveyor?
Pretty much. You've got to remember, what's the process of building a house? First, before anything else, what do you got to do?
You have to find a lot.
Yeah, you got to find the area. So before there was an address, that was an empty area. Once upon a time, where everywhere we all lived, it was just an empty area, one time or another. Correct?
Right.
So what they do is they do this survey system. Okay, and that's what we're getting at today. So before we have the real estate agent sell the house, or the construction guy build it, or the appraiser appraise it, or the finance person put out a loan, somebody's got to find where to build this. Okay? So what we're talking about is the survey system. So here, and this has been since 1785, the government survey system is federal land survey system that has been applied to most of the land added to the United States since the system was adopted in 1785. Okay? Long time ago. So what we have here is this little diagram I put up. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So what I got here is a baseline and meridian. That big gray bar here, I'll move it for you. See it? So right across here, I have the baseline.
Mhm.
Okay? And this is the meridian. Okay?
Okay.
You with me so far?
Yes.
So you have this fixed point of beginning here, right in the center. And it's baseline and meridian. And then there's these little lines. You see these little lines here? These green lines?
Mhm.
I'm moving it a little bit for you.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
So that's the range line.
Good. So you have the range line. And how far are they apart?
Um, 6 by 6.
6 by 6. Yep, I got it right there in the top right for you. So it's 6 by 6 miles. Okay? So we have the beginning
Okay.
of how we're going to identify land. So you do it in these 6 mile units. So we go 6 to the right, 6 up, 6 to the right, 6 up, and we start to figure out where you are. Range lines. So we would say like range 4, township line 5, or whatever it is. So we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go up. Okay? So here
Okay.
I go range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 west, township line 1, 2, 3, 4 north. Okay?
Okay.
Right there. I got my yellow box. But that's still kind of a problem. Why?
Because you need to find out where in that box is it
Right.
located.
Your property is not 36 square miles, is it?
Right.
No. Yeah, it's not that big. Well, maybe it's that big. I mean, you're in New Hampshire, right? You guys got big properties.
Not that big.
Not that big. That's huge. Okay, so we got 36. This is a 36 square mile area. Now let's
Okay.
zoom in on this. What do you say? Do you want to zoom in on this?
Sure.
Boom. Look, I use the same color and everything. So now what I have here is a section, okay? So I go back here, these are all sections. And I have my section here, okay? And how big is this?
It is 36 square miles.
36 square miles. You're rocking. Good. And I have the diagram here, 6 miles by 6 miles. 36 square miles I put here. So they put these little boxes here, okay?
Yep.
How big is each box?
1 mile.
How do you know?
From the bottom of the screen.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. So, and let me correct myself. These are sections. I said this is a section before. That's actually a township. Okay.
That's the township.
Right.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. Let me correct myself there. Okay. So I have this township, and now I have the sections. Okay. The answer I was looking for is, well, if there's 36 sections, I'm hoping you see that in the bottom right, that 36.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because there's 36 of them, and it's 36 square miles, that is why I was hoping you'd say each one is 1 square mile.
Yes.
Okay? Now, you're right. I did have it written there, but you see my point. It's 36 sections. Each one is 1 square mile, and you're good to go.
Yes.
All right? Do you notice anything odd about this, what I have on the board here?
The number 9.
Yes, we'll go over that in a second. What else do you notice?
Okay.
Count the numbers for me.
So there's 36 sections, or is it townships?
Okay.
So there's 36 sections?
Look at my arrow on the screen.
Mhm.
What do you notice?
Yeah, the numbers kind of go like a snake.
Exactly. And that confuses a lot of people why it's numbered this way. So it's really odd, as you just said. It's really weird. Okay? But if you think about it logically, who's actually using this? Who's doing this? What did we say in the beginning?
Surveyors.
So let's simplify that. And you've seen my videos a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do you know I like to think things in the most simplest form? So the simplest form, we're talking about a guy or a gal in a vacant area walking around.
Mhm.
So we're looking at a computer, but pretend my arrow here is an actual person. Okay? Here, let me do this. P for person. Okay? They have to walk as so. Whereas if we numbered like we'd be used to, go here, is this person going to jump from here to here? No. So when you think of it that way, it makes a lot more sense, right?
Mhm.
People like to use that analogy of a snake that you mentioned because it's a very logical and good analogy. But what I even like better, if you just know what's actually happening, it makes sense. If somebody has to walk, then you'd see why it's numbered this way.
Yeah.
And the analogy of snakes still works, but sometimes for me, if you understand the reasoning, kind of like when I did the video on the life estate, if you heard that one, if you understand the origins of things and why it's actually done this way, I feel like people understand things a little better. A lot of people like to use witty analogies and things to remember stuff, but sometimes the best way to remember is just know why it's there in the first place. And if you understand the logic of why it was created, sometimes it's just a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because like a snake is a great analogy, but that really doesn't explain why we do it this way. And by understanding that this guy has to walk here, you're like, oh, totally, that makes sense. I mean, imagine the person has a little string and they're holding it and they're going like that. Okay? So you got that 36 square mile area. Now what? Now what's the problem?
Where in the mile is it?
Okay. So we said you're in section 9, correct? That's why I bolded that. So it should say, for example, you're in 9. Okay?
Okay.
Is your property 1 square mile?
It might not be.
Right. So we're getting there. We're getting there. okay? But we're still not there. And your property is also not a perfect square, is it?
It's not.
Right. Some people's are, but just for argument's sake, most people are not. So now we're in this part where it's 1 square mile. Okay. Now we did well. So remember, we started with this massive area. Okay, over here.
Yeah.
Massive area. And we nailed it down by going 6 by 6 to a 36 square mile area. Then we went here on 1 square mile. But there's still a problem. Okay, so let's focus on this little box, make it a little bigger. And you see these little blocks? Kind of looks a little bizarre, right?
Mhm.
Well, let me move them over, and I'll show you why they're there.
Okay.
How are we doing so far? Am I doing well?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll show you why I made these boxes. And this box is in the video I did on the same subject as well. So this is how big this box. This is our proverbial number 9.
Mhm.
How big is this box?
It is 1 square mile.
Good. I know that you, Christine, live in the northeast corner. Boop.
Okay.
You live in, are you ready for this? The northern half of the northeast corner. Of the northern half of the northeast corner, you are in the south, excuse me, that's west, right? I apologize. Northwest, you're in the northern half of the northwest corner. Now I believe you're in the southeast part of the northern half of the northwest corner. Okay?
Okay.
Let me use this one instead. Messed up my blocks, right? Okay?
Okay.
And so on down the line, I keep sectoring off until I am in such a small area that I can almost literally pinpoint where you're standing.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So we have this, so let me do this again here. So we have this 1 square mile area. And if I keep saying things like the northeast corner, the southwest half, the southern half of this half of that, I keep going boom, right? Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. To the point, as I said, where we could keep doing this to such a small area where we can find out where you're standing.
Okay.
Does that make a little more sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, so it looks a little like this. The south half of the northwest quarter of the section 6, township 12, range 71 east of the 6th principal meridian. Okay?
Okay.
So this looks a little backwards. We're going smallest to biggest. Seems a little odd, right?
Yeah.
Because this is starting here. But it's really not that odd because how do you read your mail? When you
What do
get
you mean?
mail, when you get mail, what's read first? The most general or the more specific?
The most specific?
Right, your name. Then what?
And then the address.
Well, before that, usually it's in your address. First thing on your address is what?
The number.
The number. Very specific. Then what?
Then the street name.
Which is a little more general. Then what?
And then the city, which is even more general.
And you see where I'm going with this. Zip code and then the state.
Right. Mhm.
Right? So this actually makes more sense than people realize. It reads that way. It goes from the most specific to the more general. Okay? Sound good?
Mhm.
So there you have it. That's the survey system. Hopefully I cleared it up for you a little bit. Did that help at all?
Yeah, it did.
All right, good. So with that being said, this is Joe with prepagent.com. I'm here with my friend Christine. We just did a little exercise with that government survey system. If I missed anything or made any errors, make comments below, and hope everybody does well and passes the exam. Thanks, Christine.
Thanks, Joe.